There is a reason why Yah has entrusted you with the things that he's actually placed in your hands. And if there are things that should be in your hands and belong to you, but they're in the hands of someone else, there's a reason why they may not be able to hold on to them. Sound complicated? Let's try to unpack that. Hi, this is Barry Phelps with 10-Minute Torah, day 2 of Balaq, and we want to go again to the Midbar, Numbers chapter 22, and reread again a verse we read yesterday, verse 3, that says, and Moab was exceedingly, keyword here, afraid of the people because they were many, and Moab was, in another keyword, in dread because of the children of Israel. When the Torah chooses particular words, it does so for a purpose. Let's be aware that the way Yah situates us and what he, as far as opportunities, giftings, tools, relationships, locations, resources that he puts in our hands, it's not just about making life enjoyable and convenient and better for us, but rather we are, as his servants, we are entrusted with things that, and sometimes people, situations, so that we utilize them in such a way to bring honor and glory to him, and that we further the cause of his kingdom. And you may look around and wonder, why am I here? What am I doing here? It seems I'm in a lull. Doesn't seem like much is happening. I'm just getting up, going through the routine of the day and going to bed at night. And what is life really about? It could be that there are some key components that are not yet in your hands. And in this interim spot, in this seemingly wasteland of nothing happening, Yah is just asking us, be faithful and pray. Seek me. Lift me up and exalt me through whatever means you have at your disposal. And if you're faithful in these smaller things, then I can entrust you with the larger things that will bring about larger opportunities, larger accomplishments. So, what are we talking about in relation to this verse? It says here that the Moabites, number one, they were afraid. This is a word that means, it's related to the word ger. Many of you may recognize as being a sojourner or a stranger. But it's in a reference to an idea that one would be ill at ease or uncomfortable or in fear because you're a stranger in a strange place. So while they may have been living in and around the land of promise to Israel for some long period of time, there is a reality that Yah has given what he has given and promised to give further to Israel because of relationship based on covenant. The covenant that Yah gave to Abraham in particular promises a section of territory from the river of Egypt or Mitzrayim all the way to the river Euphrates. And that can encompass, depending on where you draw the lines to the east, an enormous piece of land that are currently inhabited by other peoples. And you might think, well, they are stealing the land or they are seizing the land. The reality is they may be holding the land and developing the land for a later future reality that is not available yet. Someone else is possessing the possession, and we need to pray about how we get into it. And so they were comfortable where they were until Israel shows up. When Israel shows up, catch what I'm saying here. When Israel learns the identity of who they are, that they are in fact Israel. When Israel enters into a reality of all is not in my hands yet. We're not at the level we're supposed to be. We're not accomplishing what we're supposed to be accomplishing at the level yet because things are out of our hands. When Israel shows up ready to take what belongs to them, then those who have had Israel's stuff, things, relationships, resources, etc., they began to be fearful and uncomfortable in realizing we are a stranger here. This doesn't actually belong to us. Further, it says that they were in dread. Now, this idea of being in dread is the word in Hebrew chutz, K-U-T-Z, chutz. It means to be grieved, to be loathed, dreadful to the place of being sick. And uncomfortably saying is to a place of vomiting. They are scared to the place that they're about to vomit. This is the same word that was used all the way back in Exodus, Shemot chapter 1, verses 9 and 10. It alludes to the exploding population of Israel. Verse 12 there says that Pharaoh and Mitzrayim, they were in dread, chutz, of Israel. They were nauseously sickened by the explosive growth and enlargement of Israel within their borders. So there is a connection between the attitudes of Moab here in Mitzrayim and between Balaq and Pharaoh. What's interesting is that the same scenario where they feel threatened by the enormous size and capability of Israel, it causes them to respond anti-Semitically. That is genocide. We have to wipe these people out. And it is under the same demonic influence. When Israel rises up to seize what actually belongs to them, don't expect the host of heaven to just roll over and pretend that it doesn't matter and that, well, they're here. We're just going to pack up our stuff and we're going. Psalms chapter 2 talks about this. Same theory here in chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "Why do the nations rage and the peoples meditate emptiness? The sovereigns of the earth take their stand, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his Messiah, and say, let us tear apart their bonds and throw away their ropes from us. But he was sitting in the heavens laughs, and Yahweh mocks them." And he promises the sovereignty of his son who will rule with a rod of iron. And so it's not without understanding that the response of the people that are not in alignment and not in covenant with Yah, that they're going to be fearful. And as they see last days events begin to develop further, and I don't know where we are exactly in the last days, whether we got this year or several or many years. Later on, we may go to that. But the reality is, however we are in whatever stage of the last days that we are in, the further they develop, you're going to see the non-covenant people and nations begin to get all upset. And they're going to be upset about Israel. They're going to formulate their plans against Israel. Here's the other side of this. Those who have things that are not theirs by covenant cannot hold on to them when Israel rises up against that, because what Israel has and what all that belongs to Israel is by covenant. If what you have is not yours by covenant, you're not going to keep it. But when you have what you have by covenant, that's yours to be utilized for his honor and glory. Further, that which is in someone else's hands that doesn't belong to them, Yah, by covenant, will restore it to those to whom he has promised it and enable them to keep it for, again, his honor and glory. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. To then, shalom.